All right. So I have been asked to talk a little bit about our products and our operations. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about a little bit of the why. We don't always focus on the things that are the most important. In Unicity, though, we've thought deeply over a number of years, and we've tried to focus on the things where we feel like we can have the biggest impact. And we're looking at health challenges for people. We want to focus on the things that don't just make the most noise, but actually change the most lives. So rather than focusing on things that could kill us, hippos and elephants are both, dangerous, plane accidents. We hear about them in the news. And I think in Singapore, lightning strikes are the number one natural disaster cause of death. Dogs and terrorists are both equally dangerous. But none of these are the things that are going to get most of us on this call. Most of us in the world today are going to be impacted primarily by the things that we do to ourselves. And those are lifestyle issues. We have problems of too much rather than too little today. If you look at the causes of death around the world, those cardiovascular diseases that are highlighted here on the right, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, heart disease, more deadly than everything else combined. That includes COVID for right now. These are the things that are really having a big impact, and we want to stay focused on those. That's been our mission. The reason why these have been so damaging is because creating these problems has been very, very profitable. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. It really doesn't have to be a conspiracy, because the things that people buy when they're busy, when they're stressed, when they don't know much about nutrition, those are the companies that have done very well. It's kind of a survival of the fittest. And it's become a $3.5 trillion industry to produce these different flavors of sugar, is essentially what they are. They're very cheap to make, they have long shelf life, and they have terrible consequences for our health. And we've made it our mission to both be the solution and to benefit from this by creating a solution that adds value to people's lives, to make their lives better. So the question is, obviously, how are we, Unicity, going to succeed at this huge problem where governments and organizations all over the world, charismatic people, have failed? It's a good question. It's valid. The reason is that we have you. So at Unicity, we're a bit of like a nanotech self-replicating machine. So it's not a top-down approach. It's an approach where each one of us can affect the lives of others, and they can continue to affect it. It becomes bigger and more powerful the farther we go. It's a little bit like, in the last few months, we've all learned a lot about virology, and we know that the R naught factor, each person that's infected infects, 2 to 3 people with COVID. And because of that, it becomes exponential growth. And we're kind of in the same mechanism, but on the good side rather than the bad side. We have offices in 34 countries. So who is Unicity? We are a leader in proven nutritional solutions and education for metabolic health. We have proven levels of effective ingredients in our products, and we have people who are able to teach and follow up and make sure that those products are effective. We have a long reputation, and the Lindy effect, which is the phenomenon that something that's been around for a long time is the thing that is likely to be around for much longer. And we've stood the test of time already. And we are primarily a company that is focused on its distributors. We love and trust the distributors. We are the owner of the company was one of the biggest distributors. That's where our roots are. And we keep learning and improving. We are definitely not perfect, and we are adding new skills and knowledges all the time. During recessions and times of economic uncertainty, we tend to grow faster than we do during the boom times. That's because I think that when things are uncertain, people start to look for other sources of income. Another thing is that we sell consumable products. These are not luxury items. So when people start to get hit in their wallet, we are one of the last things that people take out of their spending. So those two things make us very stable and almost counter-cyclical in recessions. Of course, entrepreneurship through Unicity, it has a very low barrier to entry. It's very low risk compared to other methods of starting a business. Now, I mentioned the pandemic and the issues that are going on in the world right now. When this started I think we started hearing about it in Singapore in mid-January, and it seemed like it was going to be a very big deal. We made a strategic decision to increase our purchases globally because we didn't know what was going to happen in supply chains and shipping. We have a lot of cross-border transit because of where we produce and where we sell our products. So we doubled up our inventory. The main reason is we want to have, of course, a steady supply of product, and we don't want to be in a rush if we can avoid it, because like Sam mentioned, quality is super important for us. We've added a lot of controls in our production and logistics facilities. We're taking temperatures 3 and 4 times a day, not only as required by governments, but very much in addition to, because we want to, one, avoid any infection or problems with our products. And also we want to avoid any slowdowns or interruptions in the production. Now, we have a lot of internal manufacturing, and this is pretty unique in our sales channel. And this is exactly the kind of reason that we have this. I don't like to talk bad about our competition, but a lot of them are basically marketing companies only. They outsource all the development of products, all the research. They outsource the production. They outsource the delivery. It's basically a drop shipping model where they will stir up some demand for a product, and then they'll go to Alibaba and order the product and ship it to people. And that's not how we do things at all. We have a research and development team in-house, which we've always done. And we develop the products from the very start, even sourcing the agricultural, the botanicals from farms directly, all the way through until the production. That's a lot more expensive than outsourcing those things. The plus side is that when we have all these crazy things going on, we have our own internal capacity, and we don't have to wait in anybody's queue. We can produce right away, and we can control our own fate. So my commitment to you and our commitment is that we'll continue to work hard to avoid any product availability interruptions. And our operations team has been really fantastic in how fast they found solutions to problems, and when things went haywire, they found solutions and other ways to work around. Our research and development team continues to work and continues to develop new products. We have completed 67 studies, 5 are in progress, and we still have more products in the PDR than any other company in our space. Happy to announce that. And on top of all that, we have 0 debt. And what that means a couple of things. One, we don't have to ask permission from banks or from analysts for the decisions we make. If you have a lot of debt, the bank has to approve everything you do. And frankly, the bank wouldn't approve a lot of the things that we do because it's not the most tax efficient or the most financially efficient things. But we have a longer term view, we believe, than most banks would have. So we take our fate in our own hands when we make our own decisions. Another thing is that it communicates where the owner's mindset is. If they wanted to take a lot of money out of the company, that would show what their long-term plan is. And that hasn't been the case here. They are reinvesting heavily because they believe in the future Unicity is going to continue to grow, and that's their commitment to the company. So that's most of my presentation. Our commitment is to you, the distributors. We trust you, and we're grateful for what you do. And our commitment is to do everything we can to support our end of the bargain, to make things efficiently, better, faster, and with higher quality in that new facility that I briefly showed you. And then we come in here to the main production floor. Let's see. In here, This is the powder blending room here. So this is where we will blend the powders. Let's see, some lights on in here. So blend powders and lower it here. Encapsulation is down in these two rooms. It's equipment washing room. Powder packaging is down there. And then if we come down here a little bit, this is the big packaging facility. So this is where we would package things like chlorophyll or life fiber or Bio's Life. So it's all GMP, negative air pressure, rounded corners, all the state-of-the-art equipment, metal detector, everything, everything. Spared no expense. This is our third manufacturing facility that's directly controlled by us. This is a warehouse just for the finished good and materials. So that is a Unicity Global Manufacturing 3, I think is what we're calling it, and expected to be online in just a couple of weeks. And we'll start producing products here to ship all over the world.